I be like, sheesh, sunset on the beach. Make me wanna pull up on Miami with the heat. I don't know about you.
Well, welcome back to the Anytime Sports Podcast Show. We're here to recap Week 4 and what went down, Andrew. A lot of good football happened this week. But let's start off with, how about them Vikings, undefeated so far this season. Jordan Love in his first game back. They clawed back into it. They kind of clawed back into it towards the end, and I know as Bears fans, we're happy to see the Packers lose. But what were your thoughts on that game?
Who would have thought? Who would have thought the Vikings would be 4-0, especially after the injury Jordan Love had? He's lucky to be back, only in Week 4. As for this game, this is I'll ask you this question in a second, but Jordan Love in his return. He was 32 for 54, 389 yards, 4 touchdowns, but 3 interceptions. Sam Darnold, 20 for 28, 275 yards. Comeback player of the year, ? I want to ask this to you.
Ooh,
with this loss to the Packers, does this mean Packers fans need to look at the red flag, or is this not because Jordan Love this is the first game back and the Vikings are that good?
I think they should trade Jordan Love, and I think they should go with Malik Willis because clearly Jordan Love's not the guy.
Yeah.
I'm joking. With all jokes aside, I think he came back from injury, and this was like a serious injury kind of, and he came back and he looked decent. I mean, they were down in this game early, like real quick, so they were needing to throw the ball. He threw the ball for over 300 yards, 384 yards. He threw the ball 54 times, though. Like, that's too much. You got to dial it down. But, of course, they were playing from behind. We get that situation. How about Jalen Reed? I mean, for the Packers, outstanding wide receiver. And if you drafted him in fantasy, you were very happy about his workload. And talking about Minnesota, I mean, Sam Darnold is for real. I think people need to respect him. I think he's still going to have hiccups during the season, but right now he's playing absolutely phenomenally. 20 of 28 for 275 yards. He had 3 touchdowns and an interception during this game. He was phenomenal. Jordan Addison came back, caught a touchdown ball, and he rushed for a touchdown during this game. What a welcome back game for him as he was dealing with some injury as well. Aaron Jones, big story, coming back to Lambeau Field, and then his showing at 22 carries for 93 yards rushing, and I don't know if he did much receiving. He had 4 catches for 46 yards, so he had a pretty good day as well. What do you think about Sam Darnold? Is he for real?
I don't know.
Is he for real, or is it too early to say? Trade away J.J. McCarthy, you got your guy in Sam Darnold.
Yeah, that's my camera turned off. But Sam Darnold, I like him. I mean, he was drafted. When was he drafted? In 2019?
2018? He was in the same draft class as Baker Mayfield, Josh Rosen.
Round one, pick 3. He was pick 3 for a reason, and
Lamar, right? I think Lamar was in that draft, and Josh Allen.
Yeah, like he's round 1, pick 3 for a reason. Like we were saying, I think I was saying last week, with Baker Mayfield, he was drafted first overall for a reason. It may take these guys a little bit to get adjusted to the league, but once you get your system and once you get put in that system, for Sam Darnold, this might be the Vikings. They're 4-0. At this point, you can keep winning. In the next coming weeks, looking at their next schedule here, they got New York next week, Detroit, Los Angeles, Indy.
Is it too early to say right now that the Vikings could go 17-0?
I don't think so. I don't think they go 17-0.
They don't have a hard schedule.
No, it's
you
very
look at their
easy.
schedule. They play the Jets. And maybe the 2 hardest games a year is going to be against the Lions.
Yeah.
In 2 weeks, and against the Lions in the last week. But you could definitely see.
Yeah.
The Lions benching all their star players because they don't have to play somebody. I heard somebody make that take, and I'm like, wait, let me look at their schedule. We have the Jets, winnable game in London. Who knows how Sam Darnold shows up? We don't know with London games. They're so inconsistent. Mm-hmm. Sometimes people show, sometimes they don't show. It's a very inconsistent game always, they got the Lions. So that's a tough game. But if they win that one, the Rams are banged up.
Yeah.
Colts aren't as great. Jaguars, Titans, Bears, Cardinals, Falcons, Bears again. The Seahawks, they beat the Seahawks might be a tough game.
Yeah.
The Packers, you've already beat them. And then the Lions. But the last 3 weeks, the Seahawks, Packers, and Lions, they could be already in a playoff situation. And do they start their starters?
Yeah. At this
Who
point,
knows?
Yeah, at this point, I don't necessarily think based on all their games have been won by a good margin too. Besides this Packers game, they allowed 22 points in the fourth quarter. But I don't think you can necessarily say 17-0. But the way this team is playing, you can say 17-0. I'd see them being a playoff team for sure, winning the NFC North for sure. At the way they're playing now, compared to the Bears bumps that they have going, the Packers with Jordan Love playing the way he did last week. The Lions have been spotty too, but I could very well.
We all projected this Vikings team to be very bad.
Yeah.
But we all knew they were one quarterback away, really, and they got their guy.
Yeah.
And now they're like really good. They feel like they're going to be divisional champions. I don't know. It's still too early. Detroit's only a game behind, but still, if Minnesota keeps winning like this, they're divisional champs. They've scored 116 points, and they've only let up 59 points against. Just to put a comparison, Detroit's led in 82, Green Bay's led in 89 points, and Chicago's led in 75 points total. So Minnesota's defense also putting in the work, that the offense is also putting in the work. This team is hot right now. Kevin O'Connell may win Coach of the Year, and I would not be surprised if that was the case.
And I would also not be surprised if Sam Darnold won Comeback Player of the Year. If they keep performing.
I don't know if he'll be eligible, because I don't think like coming from a bad team is an eligibility for Comeback Player of the Year to come back from an injury. I don't know. Damar Hamlin came back and he didn't win. He should have won. So it's very inconsistent.
Flacco,
I think there should be like a most improved player, and I think there should be a comeback player, because I think a most improved player would go to a player like a Sam Darnold or a Baker Mayfield
Like
last year.
and
The comeback player of the year coming back from serious injury.
Yeah. Like Joe Flacco could be on that improved player, because he was
like improve, like that award sounds pretty bad, because like most improved, like kind of like really like I'm the most improved player, I'm an NFL player, I should be here. I think you name it something else, but I could definitely see that actually going into play in the next couple years, getting an award like that. I'm not sure players would really like it, but you know, who cares, right? Some aspect. Let's go to one of your steals. You end up winning this one. Buccaneers win this game 33-16. They also play tonight. We won't get this episode out in time, so we won't know the outcome of that one. But how are you feeling about this Buccaneers team?
Yeah.
Who only has one loss on the year. And I believe their loss was to an inferior team. They lost to the Broncos.
Yeah.
If they win against the Broncos, they're 4-0 right now.
Uh-huh.
How are you feeling? They beat the Eagles. Is this more against the Eagles, or is this the Buccaneers being really, really good?
Two things. I think it's a mix of both. This could be Stefanski in the hot seat. Because this Eagles team, a lot of talent, especially with Saquon now. Jalen Hurts, though, 18 for 30, 158 yards and a touchdown. You not want your star quarterback, only completing barely half of his passes.
Yeah, that's not good.
Dallas Goedert was the leading receiver here, 7 receptions for 62 yards.
They gave him.
The only player that got a touchdown receiving-wise was Paris Campbell. And then Jalen Hurts had a rushing touchdown. You need to get your offense cooking more. I get it hurts with A.J. Brown and Devontae Smith out, but still, if you're this high caliber of a team, you need to be winning ball games. As for the Buccaneers, Mike Evans was the leading receiver, 94 yards and a touchdown. He was, I think he's a little banged up in practice this week.
Comeback game. Yeah, he was banged up in practice this week. He's active for tonight, so he's gonna play tonight. But he was banged up a little bit, but he had a little bit of a comeback game from last week, because he was playing Patrick Surtain the week before. So he got locked down during that game, and then came back and had a good game.
Yeah, I want to ask, all kudos to the Bucs. They're a great team. Everything's put together there. Well, it seems like besides that Broncos loss, I want to ask you: is Sirianni in the hot seat here for the Eagles?
Yeah, I really think he is. I think they know that Sirianni, like they have a very talented coaching staff, offensive and defensive coordinator. I think the GM and the owner knows, hey, our offensive coordinator is a better coach than Sirianni. Our defensive coordinator is a better coach. I really never liked Sirianni, to be honest. And then he went to a Super Bowl, kind of quieted everyone down a little bit. But his press conference to open up did not sound like a head coach kind of guy. But it seems like if they're put in a situation back against the wall, they win some closer games, but they don't win them later in the year. It's a little difficult. He's definitely on the hot seat, but the only thing to save him would be going to a Super Bowl.
Mm-hmm.
I'm sorry. He's got to make a deep playoff run or a Super Bowl, or else he's gone. I don't see it otherwise. And the thing that puzzles me the most, in a game where you do not have A.J. Brown, you do not have Devontae Smith, Saquon Barkley only gets 10 carries. Like, what are we doing?
Yeah.
I get you were down early, big, but you cannot abandon the run. Abandoning the run is not the good thing, because then the DBs will just stay back and expect to pass like they did, and you're not completing the passes at a high percent. I get you're down, but you have Saquon Barkley in the backfield. You're not giving him 20 carries a game?
Mm-hmm.
I mean, I get he was very, very efficient with 10 carries only getting 84 yards. That's really good. And I get he caught 2 balls in the receptions for 32, but the fact that he didn't get at least 20 carries a game in a game where they needed him to, I mean, that's outrageous. And I don't get the fact that, and also you trade for Jahan Dotson and a lot of, like, not a lot of capital, but he's got some talent. He only gets 2 receptions.
Yeah.
Like, that's kind of outrageous in my opinion. But Baker Mayfield, I'm going to give credit to him. 347 passing yards, 2 TDs, was on fire this game. I can't wait to see him the rest of the season. I think we need to put the Eagles on a watch list on maybe potential frauds. But they also got this week, and I think they could bounce back and win. I think who'd they play this week? They play the Browns this week, so they could definitely bounce back. They play the Browns and the Giants, so they're not in any danger. But this game, it's definitely like a little bit of a puzzle piece.
Yeah.
But going from one question mark to one that's not so much of a question mark, this team has been absolutely rolling on offense with a rookie quarterback in Jaden Daniels, throwing 26 of 30 for 233, a touchdown and an interception. He was phenomenal in this one. It seems like Washington is able to move the ball at will. What are your thoughts about this Commanders team, and how far can they go? Can they win the division, and do you think they make a deep playoff push with the team they got?
Yeah, I mean, Jaden Daniels has looked amazing. In this game especially, I mean, he only rushed for 47 yards, but he threw 20. He was 26 for 30, 233 yards with a touchdown and an interception. That's what you want to see out of a rookie. As for the
I think he's a leader for. He's got to be the leader for rookie of the year right now.
Yeah, I believe so, and he just won rookie of the month. Torrey Taylor won special teams player of the week. I know that. But yeah, he's looking really good.
Oh yeah, he's good.
Really, really good. Jaden Daniels, yeah, he's gonna. If this team's gonna make the playoffs, it's gonna be because of Jaden Daniels. They have some veteran guys on this team, but that's for the better. Terry McLaurin, 7 receptions, 52 yards, and a touchdown. As for the Cardinals, really, they rushed the ball 18 times, 104 yards, and a touchdown to James Conner. MHJ, only 5 receptions for 45 yards with a touchdown. I'm sorry, but you need to get the ball to him more. If he's your playmaker, if he's your guy, you need to get it to MHJ more. Whether it's Kyler Murray making plays or him getting open, you got to get him the ball more than 5 times to win a ball game. But 42-14 is a huge score, especially for a rookie quarterback.
To be honest, I've always had this thought: Kyler Murray will give you one good game, but he'll give you 2 other mediocre games after that, and he'll not be very good the next week. I mean, he'll give you amazing play and then very subpar play. And I don't know, it just seems like Marvin Harrison Jr., he's getting 6 targets a game. But it seems like Kyler Murray refuses to throw the ball to him more than that. He likes Michael Wilson. He likes Greg Dortch for at least 4 targets a game. I don't know. He seems to be trying to spread the ball around. Marvin Harrison Jr. is your guy. 45 yards. It kind of reminds me of when Odell Beckham Jr. was on the Browns and Baker Mayfield was throwing, and how they're like, oh, he's getting so wide open. Why isn't he getting the ball? And that caused them to release OBJ, and he went to sign the Rams and then won a Super Bowl. It reminds me of that situation, although Marvin Harrison Jr. is not going to get released. There's absolutely no way that happens. But it reminds me of that situation. I don't think Kyler Murray and Marvin Harrison Jr. are on the same wavelength. And I don't think Kyler views him like we view Marvin Harrison Jr.
Yeah.
Because going after week 1, he's like, who cares that he didn't get the ball? Like, there's other people too. Like, it doesn't seem like he values his guy as his guy. Like, he hasn't really taken that. Last week, the week before, Marvin Harrison Jr. had a breakout game. Amazing game. You'd think you're getting the ball a little bit more than that.
Yeah.
Especially in a game where you got to throw the ball.
Yeah.
Get it to your playmakers. I mean, James Conner in this game did a heck of a job. 18 carries, 104 yards, and a touchdown. But I don't know if it's just me, but it just feels like Kyler doesn't view Marvin Harrison as his guy.
Yeah.
I really think he wants to throw the ball to Michael Wilson. I think he likes Michael Wilson more. Of course, there's more years with Michael Wilson, but I still just think so. I don't know if I'm crazy to think that.
No.
But it just looks like it from the outsider point of view.
Yeah, I agree. Because, like you're saying, he has his time with Michael Wilson, but the same exact time, you need to get the ball to Marvin Harrison because he's your playmaker. He's the guy who's going to get you touchdowns. He's the guy that's going to get you yards. You drafted him so high. You get the ball to him like you saw what happened last week when you fed the ball to him. They won. But you need to feed the ball to Marvin Harrison. Basically, that's all we probably have to say about that game. Let's move on to the next game. We got the Kansas City Chiefs versus the LA Chargers. Colin, you want to lead that one off?
You know, I've never seen a quarterback throw an interception and then take out their star wide receiver's kneecap in one play. So I'd like to give Patrick Mahomes credit for that because that was very talented of him. Very good taking out the legs of your star wide receiver. What do I think about the Chiefs right now? They suck, and yet they're 4-0.
Yeah.
They're bad, and yet they're 4-0. This is scary. They don't have Isaiah Pacheco. They're losing Rashid Rice, so we'll see how they are without Rashid Rice. But it is scary to see that they're 4-0 and they're playing this bad of football.
Yeah.
They're bad right now. Let's not sugarcoat it. They're not good, but they win football games. This is something that's absolutely extraordinary. They're going to try to get the ball more to Travis Kelce, but who knows if he can take the load because he's getting old and there's definitely some signs of regression there. I don't know if you get prime Travis Kelce. I don't think he's going to put up 100 yards a game. He's not that guy.
Mm-hmm.
They're going to try to get the ball to Xavier Worthy. He's small. He's going to get some more work in there, which is going to be good for him. But I don't think he can carry the massive workload. I would not be surprised if going into the next segment, we have wide receivers on the move after a couple games. And we'll mention some wide receivers that might go to the Chiefs. But they got to be making some calls right now and asking because they need a playmaker.
Yeah.
I mean, Juju's going to step up. He's going to have to step up in this one. He's going to have to take some more catches. I think he will do that.
Yeah, exactly.
I think Kansas City was lucky because the Chargers were banged up as well. They were equally as hurt. Justin Herbert off that ankle. He was not 100% healthy too. So I think when they play this game for the second time in Arrowhead, I think this game's going to be a lot better.
Yeah.
But Chargers holding Kansas City to 17. Patrick Mahomes does not look like Patrick Mahomes.
Nope.
And I was listening to a fantasy football podcast, and I know that doesn't really relate much to actual production in the NFL because Patrick Mahomes is the best quarterback in the NFL. But Jake Browning has had more top 10 fantasy performances than Patrick Mahomes in a year.
Yeah.
Jake Browning's got 3. Patrick Mahomes got 1. That's kind of insane. I mean, Mahomes, I don't know if it's just me, but Mahomes doesn't seem like Mahomes.
No.
What do you think?
Yeah, exactly. And I don't know if that's because of his lack of a playmaker. Like in his earlier years, he could just say, screw it, Tyreek down there somewhere, gain all those yards, gain those completions to Tyreek that's always open. I don't know, because is it the fact that he doesn't have playmakers? But he's the best quarterback in the league. He should make it work. But like you were saying, this is the worst 4-0 team possible. They're so injured, and at the same time, they're winning games somehow. Moving forward, their schedule, they have New Orleans next week. They have San Fran and Vegas. So
I think, the Saints are going to be tough.
Yeah.
I can honestly see them losing that game, and I could see them losing the 49ers.
Yeah.
So I could see them losing 2 in a row right here.
Yeah.
I mean, that's a very real possibility. We don't know how this team's going to look without a Rashid Rice. Lucky for Rashid Rice, I think he was put on IR, but he wasn't told that he was going to be out for the season. So hopefully he comes back. We don't know exactly what this injury situation is with him. But, yeah, you just hope for the best. And the fact that the Chiefs are 4-0 and playing this bad of football, you still got to be happy if you're a Chiefs fan right now. And moving forward, they're going to try to get the ball to Kelsey. Try to get the ball to Juju, get it to Xavier Worthy, some of the guys like that, and hope for the best. Might be in the market for a wide receiver, but let's move on to a team that finally turned stuff around, at least the past 2 weeks. Have gotten 2 wins in a row. Let's talk about the Ravens beating the Bills, and not only beating the Bills, trampling the Bills in this one. A team that we thought could have been a deep playoff contender, and Josh Allen and the Bills absolutely have nothing to say for Derrick Henry and the Baltimore Ravens.
Yeah.
What were your thoughts?
Derrick Henry is an absolute unit, especially at his age right now. I believe he's 32, if I'm not mistaken. Yeah, he's 30. But at his age, dude had an 87-yard run straight through. Bro was gone. That's the longest play in the NFL season.
He's still good.
Yeah, he's going to be good for a couple of years to come. But if things keep clicking in this Ravens team, the only thing you don't want is Lamar only completing 13 passes. He was 13 for 1,856 yards, but he did have 2 touchdowns. Justice Hill was leading in receiving, 6 receptions, 78 yards. But this Ravens team, if they can get things cooking, especially with the defense, especially with Derrick Henry and Lamar, being the playmakers they have and the offense that they have, if this team can start to play football and this team can start to win games, they can make it to the playoffs. But you got to turn things, and you got to make sure you have things turned around now before things get ugly again.
Yeah, I think if they're able to run the ball and run it effectively, and I think they want to play games where they run the ball more than 20 times a game, and I think that's how they want to win games. I think they'll be able to win games like that. Run the ball very effectively, and then have your defense stifle the other team. Very effective in that manner. I'm a little worried with the passing game. I've always been a little worried with the passing game, especially with Baltimore. It just doesn't seem they have many weapons on the outside. Mark Andrews has not shown up this season at all. They have Zay Flowers, but besides him, there's really not a guy there you could say could take some kind of pressure away from Zay Flowers and allow him to get open. But they haven't needed him, and they didn't need him this game. So Baltimore, I'd like the win here, and it's just really running it down the gut and getting it. Derrick Henry's getting some great time. But, what about the Bills? The Bills put up 10 points in this game. Josh Allen was 16-29 for 180 yards. What were your thoughts on the Bills now? What do they do from here?
Yeah, I didn't exactly watch this game, but seeing this, they put in Mitch Trubisky. Was that like a kind of 2-snap thing, or was that kind of like a...
Yeah, it was towards the end.
Yeah, it was like the end. But still, you need to get the run game going. There's only 20.
9 carries to 39.
9
That's
carries,
nothing.
yeah,
You
for James
can't do
Cook.
that.
You need to get the run game going. I don't care if you're trying to come back. I don't care if you're trying to pass. Unless it's literally like 5 minutes left in the fourth quarter and you're down by 20, you need to use the run game. James Cook only had 9 carries. That was like what we were saying earlier. You need more carries. Khalil Shakir led in receiving with 4 receptions, 62 yards. Don Kincaid had the most receptions, though, with 547 yards. But this team, you just got to click more on offense, really. You got to let the run go. You got to get receptions more. You got to find your star guy, and maybe that's what they're lacking with Diggs gone. But we'll have to see who they turn to now. Who's going to be that number 1 receiver guy? Who's going to take that over? Khalil Shakir looks like he's getting most of the receptions these past couple weeks. But like we were saying, you need to get that run game going.
Yeah. I mean, I agree most hardly with that. I do agree. You got to get it going, and someone's got to step up in this receiving core. Is it Shakir? Is it Coleman? They got to step up, make a bigger showing than they did. They got Kincaid. Kincaid's always solid, but they need someone to show up in the receiving game for Josh Allen to get open and to do some damage. I think the Buffalo defense has not looked very, very good. To be honest, they've lost a lot of guys, and I mean, I don't think they've looked very good at all. And they didn't really stop this rushing game, so I mean, Derrick Henry had to have himself a game. So, I mean, I think credit to Baltimore. This is a good win for them, but really the Bills just need to write this off their book, and they need to go back in next week, and they need to get a better showing. I mean, they're facing a tough opponent, and the Texans are no slouch, so they got to prepare this week and hopefully get themselves a win on the road. I mean, they were on the road to the Ravens, on the road to the Texans, and on the road to the Jets. Those are 3 hard stadiums to be in, 3 hard teams to play. So we'll find out really the real true character of this Bills team later on in the season. But yeah, we just need to keep an eye on them. But to another team that played absolutely amazing in this one, the Lions beat the Seahawks in this one. Big story on the night is that Jared Goff, perfect 18 for 18. Tom Brady wishes he could do that for 292 yards and 2 touchdowns in this one. What are your thoughts on the Detroit Lions?
Yeah, both these teams, especially for the Seahawks, don't count yourselves out because Geno Smith also had a game, 38 completions with 56 attempts, 395 yards and a touchdown. But for the Lions, this is a thing you want to see as Lion fans. You want to see your team winning, especially with the earlier performance of the season, losing against Tampa Bay, 20-16. This is really what you want to see as a Lions fan. You want to see your team. You want to see your team clicking. You want to see Jared Goff balling out, 18 for 18, like you said. And your rushing game got going. 14 carries for Gibbs, 78 yards, and Montgomery had 12 carries for 40 yards. Gibbs had 2 touchdowns. Montgomery had 1. This Detroit offense is perfect. The pass game's going. Goff is completing passes. Jameson Williams had a touchdown. Amon-Ra had a touchdown. Your run game's going. You got 2 guys that are great, and you could balance the workload between them. They could have breaks. No guy's going to be tired. This is a great team. This team is going to make a run, and this year, if they're going to make it to the Super Bowl, it's going to be this year with the caliber they're running at. But moving forward, they do need to win some big games, like they did lose to the Bucs.
Are they the best team in the NFC?
Yeah, they're going to play Minnesota in 2 weeks, so then we'll have to see. They play Dallas this week. Dallas has sucked recently, so this will be an interesting test. And then they play Green Bay, then Houston. So coming up, the Lions are going to prove they're going to be a top team in the NFC in the next coming weeks. You'll just have to watch and see. What do you think? What does this mean for Seahawks fans? What does this mean for the Seahawks team?
I would not be worried because they looked good in this game. They looked competitive. The Seahawks always play. This is always a high-scoring game when these 2 teams play. It always seems like it is. But I wouldn't be worried too much. Gino's still balling. And if DK Metcalf doesn't fumble, does this game momentum not shift as much? Because they were up 14-0 pretty early. They were up 14-0 pretty early. And coming back for Seattle, they clawed their way back into it. They never gave up. They end up losing this one by a lot more than they really should have, to be honest. But they played very good. They just couldn't stop Jared Goff and the Lions. Lions look very, very good. I mean, Amon-Ra St. Brown with people are talking about Jared Goff's perfect game. Let's talk about Amon-Ra St. Brown's perfect game. 1 for 1 and a touchdown. Very efficient QBR for him. I mean, I'd start him if If I'm the Raiders, I'm calling and say, hey, man, I need St. Brown. He's my quarterback one. Give me
Exactly. Yeah.
That's what I'm saying right now. But the Lions looking very, very good. I will love to watch and see this Vikings Lions game. It will be absolutely amazing when it happens later in the season. But good on these two teams. And, of course, we're going to end off with the home team, or at least the home team for our podcast. The Bears end up winning this one 28-18. What were your thoughts on the Chicago Bears taking a win at Soldiers Field?
Yeah. The Bears are lucky that they won, especially by this amount. I mean, Caleb Williams looked great. He didn't throw for as much yards as he did last week. He was 17 for 23 with 157 yards. But is this the turning point Chicago needed? This is the win you need to change momentum. I can't remember the last time I've seen a Bears team over 500. This week they play Carolina. Red Rifle is on fire, though, but at the same time, it's Carolina, and they're at home for the next 2 games. This is what you want to see, but what you need to see more of is receptions. You need to see more pass completions. DeAndre Swift had the most completions with 72 yards, and most of those being dump passes. You need to see more than 3 receptions to DJ Moore, Keenan Allen, and Cole Kmet, especially Roma Dunze. 1 reception for 10 yards. Caleb Williams needs to find a way to get his guys the ball. As for the running game, Roschon Johnson, I love using him in this system. I love him being incorporated. He's a beast. He didn't have that great of a game now, but I like seeing him being used more. 7 carries for 26 yards. DeAndre Swift, 16 carries for 93 yards. But one thing I want to ask you is, what does this mean for the Rams? Matthew Stafford didn't have a terrible game. He just threw a pick. What does this mean for them? They were banged up, but they were in this game basically the whole time.
Well, to answer your first question, the last time the Bears were having a winning record by this time this season was 2020 Chicago Bears. During this time, they were 3-1 in 2020 during this time. So that was the last time you saw a Bears team that was a winning record this far into the season. I don't take much into this game. I mean, I liked how Caleb played a little bit better. I mean, he's still very, very rough, and we've seen it. Missing certain throws he shouldn't be missing. His stat line's a lot better if he doesn't miss those throws. They were kind of saved by at least DeAndre Swift coming back from the dead and having something to do. He really lucked out getting those couple of runs. But this offensive line's still really, really bad. But they got the Cole Kmet at least going. I think you need to give him some more targets. You have to get him more targets. It will help out Caleb Williams. Trust me, it will. Get DJ Moore the ball. He's been frustrated during this season as well. You need to get him the ball. 22 yards for receiving.
Yeah.
That's crazy. And you really can't say that Caleb did amazing because a lot of his yards came from DeAndre Swift. And those are always check down routes. And DeAndre Swift in coverage. He still needs to push the ball downfield effectively. Needs to be more accurate. We need to see that. The only bright spot was the punter.
Taylor.
Taylor was... He should be a Pro Bowl punter after that game. He was the single reason why the Bears were still in this game. The Rams doing all that they can to try to win this game. Matthew Stafford had a better game than Caleb Williams. Besides an interception at the end that should have been called hands to the face and it would have been a first down. Matthew Stafford still has a better stat line than Caleb Williams. I think we need to temper our expectations on Caleb Williams. I at least I still haven't seen a full game to where he plays amazing. He didn't play amazing. You put up 24 points, cool. But you didn't look good. Your stat line didn't look good. I mean, you did put up a win, but
yeah,
it'll be interesting. We'll see how this goes. You're expected to win this game. The Rams are really beat up, so they did end up winning this one. So good for them. They end up playing the Panthers next week. So that one should be an interesting game, but I think that's definitely a winnable game. You need to win this game if you're the Bears. The next 2 are winnable games. You need to win against the Panthers. You need to win against the Jaguars. You just have to.
Yeah. Absolutely.
It's a no ifs, ands, or buts about that. But let's head into another segment this week. We heard a lot of news about certain wide receivers and certain wide receivers being on the move. As reported earlier this week, Devontae Adams requesting a trade. Does that mean he's going to get a trade? We always assume, oh, a guy wants out of this place. He requested a trade. He's going to get traded. They don't always get traded.
Yeah.
But Adams seems to be sitting out. He's not going to play this week. Where do you see Devontae Adams heading?
I would hate it, but there's two locations that are sticking out to me. Two prime locations. One, New York. Reunite him with Aaron Rodgers. That would be fun to see because that's a very big possibility. They have Garrett Wilson and Allen Lazard. That's basically it there. And then two, the Chiefs. Chiefs need a stud guy. They need a big guy. I'm going to say this for another guy later on. Chiefs, especially with Rashee Rice out and Juju being the other guy on this team, and he's also banged up. But I think you're gonna need a big guy and a big playmaker, and I think Devontae's gonna be that guy.
Yeah, I think my dog's in the background going crazy right now. I don't think Adams goes to the Chiefs and not trading him within division. I think they've already said they're not going to trade him within division. I don't think they've made a call for Adams yet, and I don't think they will make a call for Adams if we're going to be honest. I think Adams, I think he's going to go to the Jets. If I'm going to be honest, that's the place he's going to go. They're going to make a call. Salah's got to save his job. In order to save his job, get all the guys Aaron wants. And he wants Devontae Adams. So hopefully he gets Devontae in that aspect. That would be a really good place for him. I've heard the Saints, because he likes playing with Derek Carr, because it was his college quarterback was Derek Carr. I don't think the Saints don't have the cap space right now. They don't have the cap space to fit his salary, so I don't think that's a logical choice. The rumor is a second-round draft pick and then some other capital. So we'll see how the Jets get it done, because I really think the Jets are going to go with Adams in this one. But moving to another wide receiver in a different situation on an expiring deal, could be a good rental. Amari Cooper, is he going to be a Kansas City J?
Yeah, he's also another candidate. Yeah, like you said, with an expiring contract or whatever. But the Chiefs need a guy. They need a guy they can turn to potentially for the rest of the season. Kind of like Juju's first go-around with the Chiefs. He was with them. He helped him out. He helped him get to that Super Bowl, and then they let him go. This is kind of a guy that maybe you can use and go around, but you can see him in the Browns system right now. He's their number one guy there. He's Deshaun's big receiver.
But they didn't sign Cooper. They signed and extended Jerry Jeudy.
Yeah.
They gave Cooper a prove-a-deal this year. Doesn't look like he's very happy right now.
Yeah.
Sending him and getting some draft capital might not be a bad situation on a team that you think is going to go into a rebuild, because Deshaun's not the answer. Sending him off would probably be a smart decision, if I'm going to be honest.
Yeah.
And I think the Chiefs are the most logical situation right now. I could see the New England Patriots making a call, because they need a guy. I think they need another guy. But I don't know if they give up as much as they're probably asking. But I don't know. I think Cooper's going to be on the move. He's a very deep wide receiver. He's a deep threat. And, I think he's going to be on the move. Another wide receiver that kind of hinted towards he wanted to trade this week during media coverage during the week. He kind of said, no, I can only control what I can control. But when players say I can only control what I can control, same thing Devontae Adams said. Same thing Stephon Diggs said before he left Buffalo and went to Houston. Tyreek Hill. We have to say it. Tyreek Hill. Is he on the move? Tua's not going to be healthy. Tua's not coming back this year.
Yeah.
Even if he is healthy, it's a wasted season for them. Tyreek Hill is not getting any younger.
Yeah.
He thought he could win a Super Bowl with this team. He wants to win a Super Bowl. He wants to win another Super Bowl. He wants it.
Yeah,
he's going to have to get traded.
If you're the Dolphins, this is a tough decision because, like you said, what does Tua's future hold? We covered this a couple weeks ago, but because obviously Tyler Huntley, He's not the guy. He only threw 96 yards in this game, and you have Jalen Waddle, you have Tyreek Hill, you have A-Chain. But what do you do here? Because the Dolphins, and is Mike McDaniel in the hot seat? He's probably also another coach that's going to be there. But this is a big thing for the Dolphins. I think if you're the Dolphins, I think you trade him. He's a guy. He's very valuable in the league still. While he's still
Very.
younger or so, he's a top receiver in the league. He is 30 right now. Trade him while he's still got value, because who knows, maybe he does fall off. And if Tyler Huntley doesn't do good, or whoever they put in at quarterback, if they don't do good with Tyreek Hill, it's not going to look good on the team. So I think you trade him while you have a chance.
What stops the Kansas City Chiefs from picking up the phone and offering a call to bring him back to Kansas City? Would you want to see that happen?
Yeah.
Kansas City reuniting with where he made his career famous with Patrick Mahomes, Travis Kelce, and that crew, and then Xavier Unworthy. Wouldn't they have like an electric wide receiver room if that happens?
Yeah, I don't see why you don't, but at the same time, they let him go. Maybe there is some bad blood between them. But I think that Tyreek would probably feel glad to go there, especially to be with Mahomes. Maybe it is some sort of contract thing. Maybe it is some sort of thing that the Chiefs are trying to get younger. Because Tyreek ain't getting any younger. They got Rashee Rice, who's younger. They got Worthy, who's younger. Travis Kelce's not getting any younger. You bring Tyreek in, maybe if that's only for a couple-year deal. But I think that'd be a logical thing for the Chiefs to do, bring him back, reunite him, especially with Rashee Rice being out.
And I have one more player that I'm going to need to probably explain to you why I think this is the case. As a Bears fan, I always like to think realistically what's going to happen right now. DJ Moore just signed his big deal. He signed it begrudgingly because he was promised he was going to get this new role in this offense that's going to be very, very good. He was not happy when the Bears did not bring back Justin Fields this offseason. Very frustrated within the first 4 weeks of the season. You visibly frustrated on the sidelines. One thing that caught my eye is this past week when Caleb overthrew DJ Moore for a touchdown pass in the end zone. DJ Moore and Caleb Williams, Caleb was talking to DJ on the sideline. He just didn't look interested at all. He didn't look interested at all. And there's videos of him after the Bears win this Sunday against the Rams, sitting on the sideline while everyone's back in the locker room celebrating, and just looks dejected. He's having one of the worst statistical years of his career, coming off of the best year with Justin Fields. Bears moving on. And not getting that look in this offense. He wants to be the guy. He's proven he could be the guy. They're not giving him the ball like he's the guy.
Yeah.
He's very frustrated right now. And I could see that. And I could see him, if the Bears not winning some more games soon, he's gone.
Yeah, if you're DJ Moore here, I get it too. You're frustrated. You got that bag. He only has 22 receptions on 34 targets of the year, 189 yards and 1 touchdown. You need more receptions if you're going to be that number one guy. You're going to lead this offense to victories. Caleb Williams needs to get you the ball. I don't know if this comes down to the coaching, not getting enough routes, not getting the right calls to get him open. You need to get your playmaker the ball. But at the same time, maybe this week is his breakout week. But that's what we saw last year when they played the Commanders. But things aren't looking good so far during this year. He's doing a reunion against his old team, the team that drafted him in the Panthers. But DJ Moore is still young. And he's younger for a receiver compared to some of these other guys that we talked about on this list. Like you were saying, especially with the big contract he's got, do the Bears trade him? Do they take calls for him? Or is this just 4 weeks in?
I don't think you take calls. I think I think you're not shopping him. But if DJ wants out and he becomes a locker room casualty, as I call it, I think they need to. But I think it's keep an eye on. I don't think it's as far from the imagination. Of course, I don't want that to happen.
Yeah.
But I think if they get him the ball more, things will cool down. I think in the media, he's talking more happy about the Bears. He's very professional. He's a very professional athlete, as he is a professional athlete. But let's move into some NFL news right now. One of the big news coming out: Nick Chubb practices for the first time. Wednesday comes back very limited. And he comes back, and hopefully we get to see him. They activated his 21-day period. He's got 21 days to be activated to the roster. If not, he has to have IR for the rest of the season. But he's practicing, hoping the best for him, hoping he can come back. We all remember
Yeah.
Nick Chubb, and he is great as it is.
It would be very fun to see him play again. I'll take this next one. Yeah, we covered this earlier, but Rashid Rice, with his knee injury, placed on injury reserve, out for at least 4 games, which is where the Tyreek Hill rumors and Tyreek Hill buzz comes in. Devontae Adams, Chiefs wanting a receiver, all that stuff.
Antonio Pierce. Antonio Pierce. This news came out today, and I'm like, what? I had to look this one over again. Antonio Pierce is one of the only 2 coaches in the NFL right now that are being sanctioned by the NCAA for violations against their allegations or proven that he took some parents to an adult club. Of the recruits that took him to an adult club, you can use your imagination to see what kind of club this was. But yeah, if you want to look into it more. But I mean, that's
Yeah.
that's a questionable. I don't know if you want your coach doing stuff like that, but who knows? But it's a piece of news that I thought would at least be a little bit relevant.
Yeah.
In this one, I don't think we got. There's not as much news
I got another
out of this
piece.
one. We have Devontae.
I got another piece.
Yeah.
Patriots job mail. Not really thinking about making a quarterback change after 1 to 3 starts for Jacoby Brissett.
Oh.
You know you do have those young quarterbacks cooking, but I don't know. You have Drake May. You have Joe Milton. When do you switch him out? I'm asking
No,
you. When
you
do you switch him
don't.
out? You keep him in.
You don't. It's a year.
Yeah.
You gotta. It's a year. Let him sit for a whole year. This team is not ready for him. It's not.
Yeah.
It's not ready for him. It's really bad right now. You need to sit him.
Yeah.
Get some more offensive linemen this offseason. Get some weapons for him, and then play him. He needs to sit a full year. I think that's the best situation for him to sit a whole year. I don't think you start him. I know fans want to see him, but no.
Yeah.
Find this interesting. Panthers head coach Dave Canales says team's not interested in trading Deontay Johnson. Yeah, of course. He's your wide receiver 1, and he's balling out the past 2 weeks. Like, why do people think like, oh, yeah, we're going to trade him and stuff like that?
Oh yeah. This is another big one that happened earlier in the week. Bills linebacker Von Miller suspended 4 games for violating the league's personal conduct policy. He ain't getting any younger. So you really.
Hey man,
Yeah.
you ain't cheating, you ain't trying. He's trying.
Yeah. Another piece: Dolphins to start quarterback Tyler Huntley Week 5 versus Patriots, and OBJ to have practice window open. We'll probably see OBJ make his Dolphins debut in these coming up weeks. But last thing the Dolphins need right now, I mean, is another weapon. But they already got Tyreek Hill, Jalen Waddle. I don't know.
They don't need OBJ right now.
They don't need OBJ.
They can't throw to him right now.
If
to
he
be
can play
honest.
quarterback.
I mean, yeah, can he play quarterback?
Yeah.
They really need a quarterback right now. That's a good one. Let's move into. I think we're done with the NFL
Yep.
news right now. There wasn't really that much news this season, but going into our 2 locks and a steal, going over last week, none of my steals hit. And as the rules of the steal is, if you get one right and the other one wrong, you lose your points no matter what.
Yep.
But our locks, I only won one of my locks. I had New York Jets over Denver. They lose by 1 point. Houston wins over Duval, so I get a point there. Well, you get 2 points for a steal of Tampa over Philly, and you won the San Francisco, New England, and the Kansas City over LA, which means you are leading the points 3-5. 3 for me and 5 for you.
Yeah.
Going into this week, so you're hot. You're you picked 3 for 3 last week.
Yeah.
Who are your locks for this week?
My lock for this week, I'm going to say Vikings over Jets. The Vikings are on fire. I don't see any signs of slowing down. Like you said, this is a London game, so we don't know what we're going to get. We really don't know what team is going to show up this week for the Vikings. But at the same time, the Jets could show out and win this and prove me wrong. But I think the Vikings over Jets are a lock, and I think the Bears over Panthers are a lock. Red Rifle, he looked good In his debut last week, pretty good too. So it depends what Panthers team we get here, and depends what Bears team we get here. But this Bears
So
defense,
you're getting Bears over
yeah,
Panthers
Bears
and
over
Vikings
Panthers.
over Jets.
Yes.
And then you have the
My steal.
We'll go over steals in a second. Give me for my locks this week. Give me Commanders over Browns, the Seahawks over Giants. I think that's pretty self-explanatory. I think the Commanders have been playing very good football right now. They deserve to roll with the dice, so I'm picking Commanders in this one. I'm picking Seahawks in the next one. They're going to get a bounce-back game, get a big win against the Giants. And going into a steals, this one I was surprised to see, but I mean Tampa Bay going on the road after a big game, they're not favorites in this one. So I'm going to take tonight. Tampa Bay is going to win over the Falcons, and we'll see. Before this, I could look like a complete idiots if this comes out tomorrow and they lose. But
that really,
that's what I got.
It really surprised me too that Tampa Bay isn't favored, especially their win over the Eagles. But does that mean the Eagles are on fraud watch? I don't know. But my steal I have is Rams over Packers. The Packers are favored here, and the Rams, they kept it close with the Bears, but at the same time, the Packers did not look good last week. I don't think they're going to get any better this week, and I think the Rams are going to take this win.
Well, I hope you're wrong in that one so I can catch up in some points here. But I mean, hey, who knows? And who knows? Good luck to everyone's fantasy team this week. It's been a good episode of the Anytime Sports Podcast show. Andrew, anything you want to say before we let the viewers go?
Hopefully, we have some more NFL news to cover next week. Maybe some of these wide receivers that we covered will be on the move by the next time we post this podcast.
Maybe.
But very
I don't think so, but maybe.
I don't think so, but maybe teams will jump the gun this soon. But hoping for a good week for everyone. Good day, good weekend for football. Good weekend for ASP. Enjoy the game tonight. Enjoy the games over the weekend. Good luck to everyone's fantasy teams. And we'll see you guys later.
Oh, no, we just begun. I like those colors.